What's going on, YouTube? It's Donnie B all day. So today I have a log, a big fat solid log. It's a lot bigger than the one I wanted to use. I should have cut it shorter for what I'm doing, but I didn't. So here we have this jumbo log. Who knows, maybe halfway through I'll get tired and I'll decide to do what I was really going to do, and I'll cut it down some more. So basically what I want to do is I want to make a slow burn log. All right, this is something that, like, if you need a fire for overnight to keep you warm for the entire night, you're going to need something that burns slow. Throwing a bunch of sticks and twigs down in a pile, that stuff burns way too quick. So today I got the old Sheffield MOD, and what I'm going to do is I want to start just by prying the dead center of this log. And what's going to happen is, by prying, I want to start to make a nice hole right in the tip or the top of this log. And remember that as you do this and you start taking chunks of wood out, save them. All these little chunks of wood are going to make really, really good tinder at the bottom. So I'm going to just punch and pry, punch and pry, punch and pry, and as you can see, I'm going to start making a hole. Now what I think I'm going to do is I'm definitely going to cut this down a little bit, because I got to be realistic. I don't want to go all the way through this, because it's not like I am going to use it for a long overnight camp. If that was the case, if I was going to be doing a long overnight camp, or you know, an overnight camp, and I needed a long burn, then I would go through this entire piece. But I don't need that, so what I'm going to do is just take out the center, and make sure that if you're going to be doing anything like this, you have a blade that you can absolutely trust to pry with, something that you're not going to break. The Sheffield MOD, man, it's a pry bar with kind of an edge on it, and that's all it is. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to work on this. I'm going to keep breaking it down. Next time you see it, it might be shorter, but this is what's happening. I'm just pecking away at it, pecking away at it. It takes time, but if you're in a campsite and you have nothing to do, you know what I mean, then who cares? That's all you got is time. So this will keep you from going crazy and just being bored. But just remember, punch and pry, punch and pry, and eventually we're gonna have us a nice hole and all this stuff, especially this stuff, because this is still kind of wet, still kind of green. You get all that sap in there, that thing is gonna burn like crazy. So the more of the center you hit, the more you're gonna flake up. You just want to keep punching it until you start to get a hole. Once you start to get a hole, you can take away the sides, then it gets a whole lot easier. I mean, when I talk about that, it gets a whole lot easier. Look at the size of these chunks. In no time at all, let me grab you guys real quick. No time at all, you have a hole. All right, look at that. I can stick my finger in there. So literally, once you start getting a hole, then, hope you guys are still in there, then doing this just becomes so much easier. So much. It's hard to do this and balance and hold you guys, but you can see how, look at that hole gets bigger already. So that's what I want to do. I just want to keep punching and turning, and I want to stay to the center. That's a good one right there. I want to stay to the center because, you know, it's going to make it burn when you have those sides really fat like that. It's going to make it burn really, really nice. Yeah, that'll be good. So remember, when these fall, let them fall close to you. And that's it. So I'm going to Man, it's really, really chunking out now. Once you get it started, the first few you're going to take, you're going to be like, this is stupid. I don't know why I'm doing this. It's never going to work. But once you start getting a hole and you can start peeling away the sides, it breaks away a lot nicer. Just so easy. And once you get a spot where you can just start chunking off the sides like this, then you can see, I mean, removing big pieces of wood is not hard. And if you want, you grab yourself a baton and do it that way. Just baton down and baton down, and you can just keep doing that over and over and over again. Remember, have the right knife. The right tool is a must. I could even use that that Cold Steel Chaos stiletto I brought you. That thing would bust through this like crazy. But most people aren't going to be carrying a stiletto in the woods. You're going to be carrying some kind of knife. So I wanted to show you with an actual knife. And even though it's more of a fighting knife, it's still considered a survival knife. And a lot of people out there carry the Sheffield MOD as a prime survival knife just because it can do things like this. It can hack through anything, and you can pry all freaking day with it. It's just madness. I mean, I'm making a pretty big hole already in this guy. And, man, that's just, that's pretty simple. Okay, so I'm going to press pause. I'm going to continue to dig this stuff out. Remember, if you have gloves, this is probably one of those times where you want to wear gloves. I'm just so used to it. I don't care. So don't follow my example. Except, you know, when I teach you stuff like this. I'm going to keep hollowing out this log. I might cut it down. As you can see, maybe you can't see, I'm getting a nice hole in there. And that's exactly what I want. So I'll show you when the hole is just about there. All right, hold on now. All right, so just to give you an idea about how long it takes to do this, first of all, there's my little pile of stuff, but here's the hole. You see how big it is right here. And I'm about 3 to 4 inches in. Now, if I cut this to a 4 to 6 inch log, and I've been doing this for 10 minutes. This is basically what I wanted to do, is show you how far you get in what kind of time. So 10 minutes, and this is the size hole I got. And remember, you don't want to make a big hole because then you're not going to be having that slow burn. You want a hole that's just going to be in the center. So basically a third of your log. The diameter should be about a third of the size. And so right here, 10 minutes. So after 20 minutes, I'm looking at, you know, being halfway through this log, and 20 minutes to a half hour, depending on, you know, if I start running out of steam. So if I gave myself, I'm at a campsite and I know I'm going to be there for the long haul. If I gave myself 2 hours, that should be more than enough to get through an appropriate sized log. This one is obviously a little bit bigger than I would normally use, but even if I went with a 4 to 6 inch log, then I'm looking at less than an hour to carve this out. That leaves the rest of my day to do whatever I need. And then at night, when it comes to build my fire, this thing is going to burn all night. It's going to burn all night. So that's about how far I got. You can see right there, in 10 minutes time. So I'll keep going and I'll show you where we're at. All right, so I took out the old Cold Steel Axe Gang hatchet and I chopped it down because I really don't need it that much right now. I'm just showing you guys. Well, here's the thing. Here's my hole, right? Looking pretty good, nice and deep. Once you get near the end, you can take your knife and give it a hard shot through. I need 2 hands. I need 2 hands, y'all. Let me pinch you between my legs. Yeah, that's where you like it. All right, so now you can see that it's going to start to flake out real nice. There's the hole. Trying to do this with one hand sucks, but you can see that it's so much nicer now. to get through, I'm just stabbing at it and picking pieces away that are on the edge. And it's really, there we go, really difficult to do with limited handage. So you can see how that looks. Now I just, what's up, Asia? Put that like that, and I stab that into there. And now it's all about just getting it all off the sides and opening up that hole. So I'm gonna go open up this hole, and then I'll let you know. All right, we're almost there. We're almost there. So now this, when I have two hands, you can see what I'm doing here. I'm just striking the excess off from around that hole, and then when I lift this up, you can see it's all right there. So now you can see how much excess there is still right on that side, and it goes pretty fast once you have two hands. Pretty fast indeed. So it's just about cleaning up that edge, and that's it. Then you're done. And then it's time to get your fire pit ready. And all you want to do is make sure you have air under this, because you're going to be lighting a fire under it, not in it. And you need air to circulate, and that's how it all works. So looks like this is pretty much there. It's at a point where I'm very, very happy with, and I got all the shredded stuff out that I'm going to need out, and that's it. So let's get to making that pit and get it going. Hold on now. Oh, I almost fell. All right, so generally you're not going to be lucky enough to have some old Christmas tree hanging around, but what I did is I put all my fluff down there, and I put these two sticks right here. I'm going to set my log right there so it's centered on those. Now this is going to burn up like crazy, but generally that won't be there. The fire would be coming through there. It wouldn't be all the way around it, and it would burn really slow. This one's going to burn a little faster, maybe because I have all this, but this should all burn pretty quick anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my fail rod, which is in my hand right here, and that's it. I got my fail rod, I got my striker right there, and I even got a little bit of tissue paper to accelerate. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get that lit. As soon as it's lit, I'm going to put that right on top. Hold on here. Hold on here. All right, so as you can see, I got my fire going straight through that center. Now, normally it would, it'd be off the ground like you see right there. I would have it off the ground high enough to where I can continuously feed the fire little sticks underneath until that big piece got caught. But right here, this is going to do just fine because I have all that nasty old Christmas tree in there. So without that, I'd be breaking up a bunch of stuff like this and just keep putting it under there, and to keep that fire going. And I might even drop some right down in the middle. Oop, I totally pulled away from you guys, but take a few like little tiny sticks, things like that, drop it down the center of the hole, and let that burn. What this is going to do, guys, it's going to give you a fire that's going to last a long time. Right, this fire is going to be no joke. It's just going to sit there and burn, burn, burn. You can see the flame in there, and that's going to give me basically all night kind of warmth, and it's going to make me feel really good and really toasty. And the good thing is, if in normal settings without all this pine stuff around, I can actually use the log by feeding it from the bottom. I can use this log as a cooker too, so I can put my little metal pan or my little pot on top and cook straight from there. So I'm gonna let this thing burn. I'm gonna keep feeding it a bit, and that's it. I'm gonna have a a low, slow fire. So that's about it for me. I'm Donnie B all day. Until next video.